anyone home?
Oh my God.
We're back. Welcome to episode 4 of Hello, Anyone Home? What an exciting time. Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for all the support on our previous episodes, on our Instagram. Thank you for the feedback, for participating. It's been so nice. But this show is a virtual hangout session between Bo, Leia, myself, and you guys, where we answer the question, how are you doing, but really, how are you doing? Getting into the nitty gritty, particularly during these quarantine times.
Yes. Okay. So we are asking each other, how are you doing? Bo, Jills, what's been up? How are you doing? And I also additionally wanted to ask this week. We've talked about previously what we've been reading, what we've been watching. I want to know what you've been listening to, whether it be music or podcasts or whatever.
Anything.
Anything.
Well, I took a nice break because I was having a little bit of a schedule, teaching a lot and having session and preparing the project that I'm working on. And then this week I started my second volume 2, my park program. On top of that, I'm like working on project again. We're gonna have a shoot at the end of this month. So yeah, like I've been having a little bit difficult time to find music to create because like sometimes you just like create and then you realize that I just use all my favorite songs.
Yep.
So I took time for myself and searched few songs. I love this song after I watched this music video she released, FKA Twigs.
Oh,
Did you
yes.
see the Sad Day music video?
No, I haven't seen the video yet. I gotta watch.
I'm not even gonna say anything. Just go watch.
Fun fact, one day I saw her, well, like I sat next to her as she was like in a conversation with someone at the Gregory's Coffee right next to River.
What?
Whoa, that is a fun fact. And a Gregory's Coffee that we all know so well.
I know.
Well, right? FKA Twigs. Like, what? Of course I didn't speak to her. I was way too nervous. I was like, that's my girl. Like, what?
I feel like if I saw her in the wild, I wouldn't recognize her, I feel like.
Gosh,
Because she would be in her, like,
Yeah.
Well, speaking of creative women and amazing music videos, have you heard of a young lady named SZA?
Yes.
A new track that she released called Hit Different. Honestly, like, how did she know we needed that? And how did she know this particular song is the one that we needed? And then the visual,
different.
the choreography, the outro with her baying and the beads and like, you are everything, Miss SZA. So she did the living daylights out of that.
Thank you, SZA.
And then yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, but like real recently, my Boo Masego just released a song called Passport. And when I tell you, I have listened to it already.
I need to. Searching now.
Good. Check that out.
Thank you.
And then like the Chloe and Halle Ungodly Hour album, like
Yeah.
Untoppable, and I've been listening to it for the past like straight.
That
So
VMA's performance was
oh,
I just can't. I
just can't.
enjoy things. Like
They kill every look also. Like their voices are incredible, but they also are just so gorgeous and so glamorous and so confident in all their talent. Like, and then like I watch them on IG Live and they're just like, yeah, like she always eats my food from the fridge. Like they're just so regular. I'm like,
amazing. Well, I love those because I too, similar to what Bo was saying, have been struggling in the music department. Like I've been listening actually to a lot of older Janae Aiko, and that's been really like making me feel chill and good. My students have been liking listening to her, so love that. I've been listening actively to many podcasts, though. I during quarantine, I got into the routine of listening to The Daily every single morning, which feels like it's helping me wake up. It's helping me start my day. It feels like sturdy, excellent journalism. I love Michael Barbaro. I love the theme song to The Daily, where it's like dun dun dun, da-da-da-da-da-da. You know that one. And my roommates and I are going to make up a dance to the theme song to the daily podcast. So stay tuned for that. And because it's a real staple in the morning. I listened to Code Switch. I actually stopped listening to it for a while. I don't know why, I just fell off the train. And then recently I got back into it and I was like, wow, I don't know why I stopped listening to this at some point. That's an NPR podcast. It's great. The third thing is more of a comedy podcast. I, without a doubt, listen to Las Culturistas every week. It comes out on Wednesdays. If you know Bowen Yang from SNL,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of the hosts, and then his best friend Matt Rogers. They've been hosting this podcast honestly for years. That's how I first got to know, figuratively, Bowen Yang way before he was on SNL. I've been listening to this podcast honestly for like 2 or 3 years now. It's so interesting to hear, see how their careers developed, because when I first started listening, Bowen Yang was like a graphic designer and now he's literally on SNL. So,
Right.
Nice to see how that evolved. I recommend all 3 of those podcasts and Janae Aiko to all of you listeners. But because we're in such a desert right now, we're like, we need to find new music. Bo is like, I need to choreograph to new music. This is literally her job, you all. So we need to help her and us out. So please let us know what you're listening to. Recommend music, podcasts, whatever to us. And we are going to compile all of your recommendations into a public Hello Anyone Home playlist and share it so that everyone can benefit from everyone's listening recommendations. And I'm really looking forward to that. And there's kind of no cap. So you can recommend, there's no cap. So you can recommend music to us weeks and weeks into the future, and we can still continue to build this podcast not this podcast, but yes, this podcast, but this playlist, we can continue to build it together.
Yes. And make sure that in order to contact us, you have us in all of those spaces where you can reach out to us. So subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see these videos when they come out. Like Bo said, you want to comment underneath the video so we can see it attached to the video itself. And then you also want to follow us on Instagram at Hello Anyone Home. If you check the link in the bio, you'll see there's a link tree there. So not only will you get a chance to see the last video, you'll also be able to subscribe to the channel. You'll also be able to see that there's a Google Doc where you can send us stories, recommendations, ask us questions, chat with us at any time about anything. So many opportunities to reach out to us.
Yes, and if you submit a story to us, we will discuss it on our show. So also, if you have any kind of question that you're like, I wonder about XYZ, and I'm having this kind of a feeling, can you all discuss? We would be happy to do so with our guest even. And speaking of our guest, we have an amazing guest today. And speaking of Masego, our guest loves Masego, if that's a clue.
Everything is just connected.
Everything is connected. And so without further ado, Jills is going to introduce week 4, our guest.
All right, you guys, we are at a very exciting moment in the episode because we are about to bring on a guest who is just going to brighten our lives in such an impactful way, because this guest is a true artiste, and you got to spell it with all the extra letters. Not just an artist, an artiste, right? He is a dancer, a choreographer, a creative director, an innovator, a pioneer, if you will. He's also hilarious and just an incredible person to be around and talk to. And he's going to just open up in a way that, we've been hoping that we could get him to open up. And here he is, willing to give an evening to us. We are just so blessed to welcome the one, the only, Edson Maldonado to the show. Edson Maldonado, everybody.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. Oh,
Oh,
yes.
Wow, what a guy. Look at them glasses. Look at you.
Oh,
hydration.
drink water.
Drink your water.
Wow,
You're not-
giving me
you're not-
like Ellen vibes.
yeah. No free promo though. You don't know what company, what brand this is.
Not Spawn.
Yeah, they got a sponsor. Run that check. Thank you, ladies. What's up? What's up, everybody, viewers at home? What it is, what it do, what it be like, what it feel like, what it smell like, hygiene, all that.
Smell like.
How are you doing, Edson? Like, really, really tell us. How are you doing, and how have you been keeping up, holding up during these quarantines, man?
I mean, I feel like similar to everybody, there's been the share of ups, the share of downs, but I am very fortunate to say that I'm doing probably like the best I've done like in my life ever. There have been like
Wait.
a lot of
Sorry, I do
on
this.
board.
Sometimes I'll
Soundboard.
do this.
Bored. Yeah, I mean, I spent the last couple months just really recentering and like molding, or not molding, but bringing back old relationships, especially like with family members. So there are a lot of bonds that were like made stronger, and so I feel like it's reminded me of like who I am, who I was. It's kind of brought me back home in a sense. I mean, literally too. Like before this, I was living in Jersey City, and now I moved back to like the house that I grew up in. So there's a lot of like, positive emotions and things that's been happening the last couple months. But yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
That's amazing. You're glowing. Look at this glow.
Truly, such a gorgeous glow.
Moisturize.
Wait, can you do that one more time?
Not the one grade, the single.
Throw it back.
Back.
Well, my friend, we have some questions for you, and
Oh.
we
do.
want to invite you to just open up and share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And Bo's gonna start us off.
Yes. First of all, I missed you. So good to see your face. And I meant to ask this question to you even before this COVID thing happens, because I've known you for a few years, and I remember you were more dancing with community teams. After that, I've seen you performing and getting into more industry, more commercial, side of it, and I was like, oh my god, I had no idea you wanted to do that. And once I've seen it, you kept going on, and I was so proud of you. I was like, oh my god, like I'm not even sure if that's your dream, but like it makes me feel like maybe he made dream come true. Who knows, And I never got to really ask you, like, how was that transition for you? And I'm sure you had to keep that full-time job as well when you did. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. Maybe it wasn't that happy.
Be honest. Be
Yeah, just
honest.
be honest with us. Like, I just want to know how it was for you.
It was definitely a learning experience. Like I recently turned 30, and so yeah. I don't look at too much.
I'm over 30.
At all, black don't crack, baby.
Aw.
Yeah, thank you. And so I feel like when all of that was happening, I was in my early 20s, and so I feel like I spent that decade, like my 20s, really just learning things in terms of firsthand experience, or like by proxy, or seeing how people move, or like kind of pulling the veils back to see what it really is like behind the scenes. But making that transition, I feel like the reality check for me came when I had to focus on what it is that, makes you stand out. Like, what is your brand? Like, how can you, in terms of that commercial industry world, how can you help this company, this organization, like sell this product kind of thing? And I feel that when I first started dancing, right, it was always team oriented. Like, it was always group, affiliated. And so I feel like my best work mostly is done in group settings versus like being on my own. So making that transition from like the community dance world to the more professional industrial dance world, I really had to learn how to, focus my energy less on the group and more on, myself, which is a little ironic because like I'm a Leo and Leos are kind of known for being like, self-centered or, about themselves. But I would kind of argue that like that's not
agreeing with that.
Not like that.
Well,
I
we
mean,
have to understand the whole chart,
yeah,
We can't just go with the sun sign.
no. But I think like for me, where that sense of like confidence or ego comes in knowing what I'm capable of versus kind of like projecting that outward.
Right.
I feel like as when I was a director, that Leo stuff would definitely come out, knowing that like I was putting in work and it was resulting in whatever. um,
In quality.
yeah, but in
Period.
terms of the community and industry, I think one thing that I also learned is that even though there's two different kind of goals and two different kind of journeys, like both of these worlds still run parallel to each other. It's just like one is more focused on the group setting and the other is just more focused on like how can you, you know, build yourself up to be more in high demand for these companies, these agents, so on and so forth. And I had to learn kind of just by doing the trial and error to understand that like maybe at least being signed as a dancer wasn't exactly what I resonated with. I feel like I tie a little bit more into creating art as opposed to being the muse for the art. But I feel like that's just different facets as well because there was definitely a point where I was just pushing myself to be like such a well-versed dancer, like really be within my body, understand like all of that. But then I think in stepping up, back on PD, stepping up to be a director on PD gave me that opportunity to, show the creative eye as well, as opposed to just being the body. But I think that's where I really learned to appreciate the creating process versus being, a body created on. So for the industry, I feel like I started to take a step back a little bit, just because in terms of what I personally felt, someone had to do to be a successful or booking dancer just kind of didn't align with what I felt naturally or innately. Like the whole social media thing and anything just generally on brand, off brand is something that like I need to learn how to do because I'm typically not one to just have to post for the sense of for content and whatnot. Um, but the dance community also has its downs as well because I also had to learn in that same pocket that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. So like I can't make someone else have like the same do things. And so it came down to things like, are you really practicing this step at home or are you kind of just in the head like I got this, whatever, and then not practice until the day of kind of thing. Like are you doing the what would be considered mundane, tedious work to actually achieve that goal? And just kind of learning that people have the way that they think of things, and if somebody is kind of set on something, then it's counterproductive to like make them go back on that thought.
Yeah.
So just kind of coming to terms with that like in group settings, not everybody will have that same kind of fire, that same kind of drive, and it's okay. Like, you know, everybody has their strengths, their weaknesses, or the things that they're passionate about. So even just that sense of I guess empathy was like another lesson. Like, people will do what they want at the end of the day. You can only hope that, you know, your interaction with them doesn't leave them any kind of jaded feeling or, you know, skewed perspective. Um, but both those worlds, like, I love the dance community just as much as I love the dance industry because I've had wonderful dance experiences. Like, I can say I've had limited, you know, jobs or bookings or whatever, but, you know, the handful have been truly like, this is a once in a lifetime type thing. And just shout out to my boy John Rua, because usually he's the one that's like blessing me with all the great work. I'll consider him like big brother, mentor. I feel like upon meeting him is when I made this shift from being so dancer focused to creator focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the grit.
Yo, that guy, he is on some like Yoda, like ahead of his time. He's such a radical in a sense that it's inspiring, but it's also like, yo, this guy's crazy. all in like the best ways though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so.
I would say he has the better attributes that Kanye West possesses, minus, you know,
everything else.
Yeah.
I love that idea of like having like meeting a mentor being the jumping off point to like a pivot in your mindset or onto like a new step that you can see a new path sort of opening due to your interaction with somebody that you look up to. I love that idea.
Yeah, to be honest, like, I wouldn't have even been signed by the first agency if it wasn't for him, because he was the choreographer at the audition. And I had never met him or took his class prior to that. Like, I've only just seen, like, heard of him kind of thing. But, you know, kind of being a little conditioned where you walk into a room at auditions, you want to be able to stand out. I wore like this highlighter yellow, bright ass like windbreaker, and I was definitely standing out, because, you know, people will typically wear mostly like black or like darker tones or have some kind of pop. I was lit. I'm gonna look it up, and you can probably plug this, but there was like a photo that one of the agents took, and you see me stick out, right? And so
he said I had a plan.
You gonna see me, whether I'm hitting this choreo. I'm not talking about that. Don't worry about that. You gonna see me though.
You'll be able to take your eyes off me.
Yo. But yeah, John, his style is usually very funk, very like fundamental. So he had incorporated a lot of those styles within the routine. And, you know, I was getting it because I'm fairly comfortable with some foundation.
Fairly comfortable with some foundation.
Okay.
Some excellent, clean,
Mr. Modest
quality.
Yeah, let's fix that. Can you try again?
Right. I'm like, an icon, and that's why I got the audition.
Hydration.
God. The shiver me timbers. But I was getting the moves or whatever, and then it was him speaking to the agents that like shifted their focus to like pick me up, because I feel like he's still signed. He was signed to them, so it was just kind of like, yo, this guy, this and that. And then from there, like, he hit me up and was like, you know, just kind of showing love, showing encouragement and whatnot. And from there, we started to form like this side relationship, like homie, big brother. Like, he would let me guest in his classes, and that's when like I feel like I really started to turn up the notch on my training, because it went less from just kind of learning steps or learning kind of, you know, technique and things of that nature, and elevated it more to be on like a different plane of thinking about dance as a whole, like the overarching, encompassing, art of it all, right? And so, he's blessed me with these amazing jobs, gigs that is like, I don't think me as a person coming from like where I come from, like my hood, or not even my hood, my city, has a pretty bad rep if people hear about it. And growing up, just like anybody in any kind of hood, like you see stuff, and that kind of puts you in a mindset where you don't think anything exists outside of that, right?
Yeah.
Until you start to kind of leave home and see the bigger world and experience all these things. So like there was a gig where we went to like a 5-star hotel, like suite villa type stuff, and
Villa.
it was a week of work, but it was like 3 days of actual work. So the rest of that week was literally downtime, enjoying the place, like all expenses covered. And me, I'm like, I come from like the lower tier of working class. So I've always had to hold a job in conjunction with like doing any dance thing, right? So being able to experience this for a week, I'm like, people, like, this is a lifestyle. Like, people experience this all the time. And for me, it's like, what?
Ow.
I can massage and hello? Like, I didn't start stretching formally, like,
Formally
properly warm up until like 21, right? I would just jump into dancing, right? So any kind of self treatment when it came to like facials, like massages, anything like that, it was foreign to me. And so like that experience was dope. And then like earlier this year, I did the Madison Square Garden
Yeah,
New
you
Year's
did.
Eve show, and that was like a
You were in the
crazy.
dance center.
New Year's, right?
Yeah, New Year's Eve, like dancing into the
Wow.
New Year.
Yeah.
Little would we know what would happen this year, though. But you best believe I was on that stage feeling so good about the year.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm
Yeah.
going into 2020
Mm.
doing what I love, like dancing with this dude and all these homies that like it's just about the love, the art, right? And I've never been on a stage like that before. Like, Elements, DR, considered smaller scale, if you
Kind of
will.
thing. Yeah.
But I don't know. There was something just so exhilarating about being in like New York, the mecca of dance and the mecca of sports entertainment. Like just
Yeah.
that venue, that arena, it was very surreal and profound, and it was a moment that I'll cherish like for the rest of my life and work towards that becoming the norm in terms of just working, right? Because there are dancers that are just like booking like that, right? And to us, or some of us, it's like, wow, I'm over here still working this job to pay these bills, and trying to request time off to make these auditions, and that's the other part of it. Like again, I've been born and raised into like working class. Like both my parents are immigrants that came to this country, and my sister and I are like first generation, reaping the benefits of everything they never got. So there was a lot of opportunity to experience things that my parents never got, but still the reality of like I'm a college dropout. I don't really have anything on paper to show for it, so I gotta just work my ass off. Bussing tables, working at coffee shops. I don't even drink coffee, and I was working at
You
coffee
told me
shops,
that.
pulling fresh shots, making these lattes, doing this latte art, like all of this, and
You're doing latte art?
yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Like I had to just be in my head and put it in my mind that like I got to do what I have to do to get where I want to be. Like it can't be no like I'm picky or choosy. It's like I just gotta if if the opportunity's there, I just gotta go for it and make try to capitalize on whatever that opportunity is.
Yeah.
So going back to the question of balancing work and dance life, it like anything is hard, but I feel like I have a good sense of self-awareness, so I know how to prioritize things and how to just be like straight up with myself. If I'm spreading myself too thin, then I know I got to pull back on something. But I've been fortunate enough, at least when I was signed, to have agents that were understanding that I'm still working. I can't just you know at the drop of a dime go to this audition in the
Right,
city.
right, right,
'Cause
right.
that lifestyle is really crazy. Like I can't fathom what a uh, working dancer, what their life is like, where they have the the privilege or the freedom to just audition is right now. I'm going versus like I got these bills to pay. I got this job that's like if I quit, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna be doing kind of thing. But just another opportunity where I was able to learn how to balance things, how to really sit and figure out what it is that I want. Jumping into the dance industry, I never had any clear guidance in terms of like what there is to do. Right? It was just I want to dance and I want to dance as my career, and that turned into getting paid to dance, but not knowing the or not having the wherewithal to know what kind of lanes there are in the dance world, because it's like you could be a dancer and get so many different kind of opportunities within the commercial world, the dance industry, that don't even pertain to like dancing, right? It can be about just taking direction or like
Yeah.
movement coach or anything like that. So just that, that past decade, my 20s of understanding that, like I don't have to be a dancer that wants to be on tour behind an artist. Like maybe I could just do commercials, or maybe I can do like screen print, or just realizing that there's other things out there.
Yeah, there's so many different roles that a dancer can play,
Yes.
not just the backup to an artist.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But growing up watching Michael Jackson and like Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson and like all these artists, you are kind of conditioned to see the dancer be at the background. But I feel like our generation is shifting all of that. Like we're
Yeah.
definitely at the forefront, and I feel like that's why I'm learning more as of recent that there are other things to do in the world, especially with the resources that are at our disposal.
Well, it's so crazy because when you are starting to jump into the dance industry, for me, it was I was going the other way. So I remember when I went to the Elements the first time, and I remember the piece, and it was so amazing. And I gotta say, I've never seen your work before. And that was the first time, and we already knew. We were talking in the back. Everyone in my company, they were like, they're gonna win because there's it was so good. And then I found out that you were leading it, and I was like, wow, that's so crazy. And it's so funny because we were in the same room. We were in the same waiting room. and
Destiny.
and for me, it's so crazy hearing you like how it was dancing on the stage and doing commercial job. Like for me, when I danced Elements, everyone was saying like after we were like that was the best performance we've ever had. Like I think it's because of the love,
Mm.
and you mentioned it about like dancing together, and everything is about like it's not just me. So
Yeah.
I think that really like moved my heart, and everyone just really felt it, and I remember we were like crying too. But I never really got to ask you, and thank you so much for telling me like how your experiences was. It sounds like you really learned a lot from it. And I don't know, for me, like as a friend from the far, I was really proud of you just watching you.
That means a lot. I appreciate it.
Of
We've
course.
known each other for a long time now, so I have so much respect for you, and I feel like anytime whenever our paths cross, it's so genuine, it's so like heartfelt and warm that I always look forward to seeing you, Bo.
it feels so nice to see you, even if like we just bump into each other in class. I'm like, oh.
Honestly,
Um,
yeah. I, I don't know if I stay here, but
Yeah, yeah. But thank you so much for answering my question and in
yeah,
public, like
appreciate it.
You
talking
guys.
about the creative and stuff. Like I'm sure Leah has a question for that.
someone is like blasting music outside my apartment. You guys hear it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a
I love that.
landlord upstairs blasting music.
It's a little fast. Don't worry.
Okay, great. As long as you can hear me, I wanted to ask you. So I love that you talked more about being a behind the scenes kind of person, as in, thinking about, okay, instead of being the body that the work is created on, maybe I want to think about being the creator of the work, and that kind of comes from so many aspects. You're obviously a choreographer, you have experience as a director. I also want to hear about your experience directing like dance on film and your Lady Lady project and the mentality behind that and creating your own content and your ventures into filmmaking.
Oh,
And
thank you
and
for
make
that
them
question. Thank you
starting
for
a well-rounded artistic ensemble.
It deserves a shoulder, like this kind of a shoulder.
Hi.
Bye.
oh,
Exit below.
shout out to MJ and Bolton Bridge and my wonderful cast. Yeah, doing the Lady project. I think, touching back on like just my 20s in general and everything that I kind of learned in that decade. I've become a fan of just film and really learn how to appreciate movies in a different way that's not just entertainment. Like make being aware of the conscious decisions that the director is making or the writers are making or even the actors are making, especially the actors. I feel like really having a genuine respect and like love for just that artwork or that art is so like whenever I see a movie or a show and there's like a bad guy or the villain and you're like, yo, this person,
Is
man,
acting
f this person, like this person need to go.
You're like,
But
don't trust them.
then you come back and you're like, well, this actor did a good job of making me not like this character,
Yep.
and it's like
Yes.
the decisions, the nuances in their performance that helps me to shape my dancing a little bit more. Like, what am I trying to convey without trying to be so like overt, right?
out.
Those smaller like facial twitches or things of that nature. But with Lady, I think it was the first time where I really just didn't care about like any kind of public perception or like what the viewer was gonna think. It was really like, this is my idea,
Mm,
this is what's gonna be, and I just got to get it out, right? I can't
mm,
be so worried about how it's gonna be received because the thing with art is that once you put it out into the world, like it's not yours anymore. So I couldn't have that in my mind during the creating process because I just would have been like nitpicky about everything, right? Um, but learning to do Lady, or kind of like learning on the job, like all these angles and lighting and composition, especially working with the MJ because it really helped shape the way that I'm not just trying to put dance on the screen. Like, how am I trying to further tell this story, right? This love story of this guy pursuing a girl. Like, is it real? Is it not? What
mm.
happens? And I get pushed in the water and think it's crazy. Yeah, I need to run it, run it
Give
back.
it away or
Pause
anything, you
this
gotta
and
watch
watch.
it.
Pause this and then watch this. 20 minutes. Um,
We have to
but
link it somewhere.
it's on my YouTube. It's on my Instagram or whatever. But I got.
Okay.
But with Lady, really get that soundboard. Get that sound. It really put gears into overdrive in terms of that director role. I feel like with directing PD, like that opportunity to have my ideas come out at the forefront or to just help shape a overall idea really helped me with like my planning, my execution, because creating any kind of project, right, let alone a film, takes so much more than just the artwork, right? It takes the logistical, administrative planning. It takes all these different roles, all these different hats, if you will, to pull it together. And me, I guess, me being a Leo, right, and me having what my vision
Everything a Leo.
was, like, I decided to wear all those hats. And it wasn't like the most difficult thing in the world. Like, it was definitely challenging for sure, but it gave me a deeper appreciation for all these people and all those roles that contribute to, a project. So with Lady, it was just kind of an idea that popped in my head. If anybody knows me, like, Sego has been like a dear artist that I've like gravitated to. I want to say Isosa has put me on by like proxy, like him just moving to Masego, and I'm like, who's this guy? And it's like, whoa,
He is
this guy is
Masego's
everything.
personal publicist. Or what's the word? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, publicist.
Yeah, publicist. Okay.
Publicist,
As soon as I said it, I was like, that sounds weird. That's not right. But it is. It is.
Don Rua, Isosa, run them check. I'm giving y'all them shout outs.
Check.
No, but what was I talking about?
Sorry, Masego, Lady.
Oh, yeah.
Say go to artists you love.
Sometimes my brain goes way faster than my mind, and it's just like, well, the thought was back there already, so bye. But there was like a stint where I was like up on Masego, choreographing like every other song on every other album. Like even the Body Rock set that we did, it had like two.
Masego.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, Masego's dope, man. Masego's dope. But listening to that album, to that Lady album, right? The way I organize the songs in the film is different than how it's originally arranged, right? And at first, I just wanted to, take the songs as they were listed, and try to piece or thread this story together, right? But the more that I kind of sat down, shout out to another homie, Jordan Best. He is like, when it comes to just hashing out thoughts, hashing out ideas, like he's been my right hand man, like my guy in the chair. Like he understands that reference, Von Peter Parker, and he has his homie, like giving him the drop on Bad Guys. He's been the guy to help me like shape my ideas, so it's not just scatterbrain, squirrel brain, like everywhere. So then we kind of started talking about, possibly rearranging songs to fit a different narrative rather than the one that kind of Masego had, right? Because if you listen to all the songs, like there's something different going on that doesn't necessarily tie to the next song. Like old age, right? is about Masego pretty much trying to like talk to this cougar or get this older woman interested in him. And in the song or in the video, old age, what were we doing? That was the roof scene, coming from Sugar Walls, which is like the stairwell scene. And so I used that song not to like talk to this older woman, but just to talk to a woman, right? Use that flirtatious kind of, cute, je ne sais quoi, like, attitude to woo this girl, if you will, right? Trying to woo this whoop, right? Get this whoop. And right, the song is about talking to a woman, but I'm like, I'm gonna just be on my Chris Brown. I say, girl, tell me, fellas, have you seen her? It was about whatever ago, right? So that was just like a small thing of how I can rearrange this track list to tell a different story. But then I'm thinking in my head, like, I want to use all the songs, right? I don't want to just do like a nice, cute little, 3 songs, whatever. Like, I want to do the whole album, inspired by like Paris Gobel and like Beyonce when they do their visual projects, right? And like even Ian Eastwood recently did like a visual album as well. So I kind of wanted to push the envelope a little bit more with not just doing like a dance video, but this real grand story with like quality production. And I'm like, man, this is probably gonna be a 12-minute video, right? and it ended up being a 20-minute video to my surprise. So then I'm like, we got to do these in acts. Like if I'm thinking about brand and commercial and just marketing and all that, like the attention span of somebody is not 20 minutes, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, let's break these up to be like cute 8 minute, 7 minute segments that people can adhere to and stick around long enough to follow what's happening, right? And that was just like on a whim. Like a lot of the decisions I made weren't predicated on like how it will be received. It's just like this is what's gonna be. If it doesn't work, then it's a lesson learned, right? If it does work, it's a lesson learned. Um, but it was just a project where I got to put on that director hat, put on that choreographer hat, put on that logistics team administrator hat, and learn all these different trades and roles that help with an overarching production, right? I feel that even though I work best, like my best work is done in a group, I like to be self-reliant a little bit. I don't know if that's Leo in me, maybe, but there. I don't know. There's something to be said about like being able to do it yourself, but also being okay with asking for help, which is like another thing
Wait,
that
I
I
need to
was
hear
learning.
applause.
I mean, what grown up?
Totally agree.
Huh?
Yeah, because I mean that is definitely like an egotistical thing to think that like you can just do it on your own, right? Like nobody can just do anything on their own. Like we in different facets of our lives, we rely on somebody else to do something, whether it's taxes, whether it's getting your oil changed or what have you. But that's another thing that I'm also kind of been on this summer tip just these last couple months, just learning how to do things on my own, like learning how to cook more, learning how to like be a little bit more hands-on in terms of like carpentry and things of that nature. Um,
Dream.
yeah, I'm throwing that word around very loose because I'm not out here refurbishing apartments and building like kitchenettes and stuff. But that could be the plan. But that project was also a learning experience in that I knew it would be the base for what will come next, right? Or what will come after that, right? Because I knew going into it, like it wouldn't be, IMAX, Oscar, Tony, anything like that. But I knew from what I've worked on previously, like it would be something, right? And then
Step up, yeah.
on top of that, it would be just a moment like, okay, this didn't work out, or maybe on the next project I could do this differently, like things of that nature. And again, working with MJ, Hannah Tran, Mark
All that.
Lude, the homies on those projects, like they all had such a unique and like distinct style in how they edit or how they direct or how they shoot that it helped me with my vision overall,
They
right?
have so much knowledge when it comes to like that they bring to the table, all of them. Like taking advantage of all of that is so amazing. I'm just, this is out of curiosity myself, is like you have so much experience in so many different fields at to this point, right? Like you have been directing, choreographing, dancing, also directing for film. So I don't know. You can say I don't know, but if you have a thought as to what you want to continue doing or like let go of for the future, like are you trying to dive deeper into filmmaking? Are you kind of like bringing all this experience with you into like whatever comes, or do you have a specific lane that you're like, this is where I'm going as Edson?
Good question.
Thank you.
That's a really good question, because I feel like that's been just like the theme of my life in terms of pursuing this passion, because it's like, what lane am I trying to get into or create, right? And to be honest, I'm still like just deciding on that, because I I feel like I get to have these stints where I'm like, I can do whatever I want to do. Like if I want to write a pilot for a show, and shoot it with some homies, then I'm gonna do that. Or if I want to shoot another like short film, then I'm gonna do that. Or if I want to flip the script and try to do some drawing or animation and incorporate that, right?
Let me
Then I
find
can
out
do
the
that. But I think I think just to answer the question, um, I like I gravitate towards anything that is most original and authentic that doesn't already exist, or that already exists but is like a small niche, and I can kind of help broaden that world. But I think film has been a passion that is just kind of growing with how I'm maturing and growing older and stuff like that. Just having an appreciation for that medium of art. So I think if nothing else, it'll be something that just kind of ties in with camera work, content, visual aesthetics, if you will. But
That's exactly why when I introduced you, I called you a pioneer, because I know that word is, for me, that word is very special in like the area of work that I do, and in terms of like what a pioneer in dance specifically is and what it means, and like the way that you described the way you want to be in the field, sort of creating a lane or helping to like help a lane flourish that already exists, that doesn't really have as much exposure or resources or whatever. Like that's what a pioneer does, like either paves a new pathway or allows, like brings more resources into that pathway so that it can go where it's heading. And yeah, I feel like that is kind of the story of your career and where it's heading. I had a question that kind of goes back to like where you were before in terms of the way that you've been pivoting during this time. I'm wondering if, because you had all that momentum from the Lady project last year and all the gigs that you were building up towards the beginning of this year, and then something that I've always admired about you is like you were talking about how social media, you really try not to like be the person to post everything you do and all of that. And you, a few times now, you've cleared your whole social media feed and just kind of been like, this is not who I am. This is what I share. And like, that's fine, but it's not who I am. So I was just kind of wondering, like, what's your mentality behind that in terms of like clearing out social media? Is that a method of like clearing out your headspace so you can make way for something else? And especially like, how is that connected to the way that you've decided to like move during quarantine, being like more private and just like not doing too much during this quarantine time?
I think in a sense it gives me this like power that I'm taking back, that I'm owning for myself in a way that is like I'm not I'm not available to whoever just wants me to be available. Like you have to have access to me versus me just be here for you.
Right.
And I think something that like I've just come to learn about myself is that in I guess the true sense of being an artist, I have to feel it has to be real. Like it has to be authentic. Like I can't just create out of force or habit. Like I mean I could. Like I've worked that muscle to just go. But I've also learned that that's not when I'm most like enjoying it, when I'm most like authentic and proud of that moment. And so I think going on these like social media cleanses, more so just deleting like my content, gives me a sense of like liberation where I'm cleaning my slate, right? Discarding this canvas that was and putting up a new, and it kind of is a way for me to mentally, take control of my life in terms of like, this is my Phoenix moment. Like I'm burning all this ish down and creating something else that I feel most authentic in that moment. And I don't know. I feel I'm not too into like zodiac signs, but like my birthday is on the cusp of Leo and Virgo, so I feel like there are
Got it.
things about both worlds that kind of mesh into just how I deal with things or how I go about reacting to things. So in terms of taking this step back from the world to like recenter and refocus, like I'm sure like anybody else, this moment of standing still or just being still gave people the opportunity to be with themselves and confront a lot of things in their life that, you know, they were putting off or being distracted by. And for me, that had to do like with my family. Like there was a point where I became like an estranged family member because I was so like the dance world, the dance industry. And like, you know, I was losing touch with these people and like, you know, close relatives. And I feel like along the way, like I lost a sense of myself because it was like these people that kind of keep me grounded or, you know, kind of anchor me to what my beliefs and morals are. I'm like letting go in a sense because I'm chasing this, you know, this dream, or at least what I thought was a dream, right? It was a dream, right? But it just allowed me to be real straight up honest with myself and know that the work had to be done in real time. Like no amount of picture or video or sharing anything on Instagram or any platform for that matter was going to fill the void that I was feeling in real time. So, you know, I was blessed to have the opportunity to you know, have that time to myself, as well as be with my sister. My sister lives in Florida, so I spent the whole summer just like being with her and rekindling this like sibling relationship that we had. For a lot of people that don't know, I have a younger sister. She's 2 years younger than me. She's 28, and she's 27. Gonna be 28 in December. Um, Growing up, like since childhood, she's been the more independent, wanderlust, like ambitious type. I've been more like steadfast, like towny, if you will. Like I'm okay with being in Patterson. My sister had like all these dreams or whatever. So needless to say, she was always kind of out of the house or, you know, doing her own thing. Like we went to different schools, different high schools. Like she went away for college and she moved to Florida to get her master's. So for like a lot of our lives, we were kind of separated, even though like we lived together. And then like things with my parents were falling off just because, you know, with immigrant parents, they want the best for their kids, which usually aligns with the capitalist way America is ran. And so, you know, just by being privileged to understand how things actually work in America, that kind of led me astray. And it was like, I'm going to just do what I want to do. And, you know, I had to fortunately have the time to speak with my mother, speak with my dad, speak with like all these relatives to, you know, fix these relationships because, you know, when it comes back to doing the art, like I felt like the thing about Instagram, or not even Instagram, because I feel like Instagram is just another layer of where I thought I wanted to take my dancing, right? I was yearning for all this validation and for this encouragement because I was lacking that, you know, here at home.
Yeah.
But now that I'm able to fix that and, you know, repair these relationships and even strengthen them. Like I'm probably closer with my dad now than I've ever been, and like that's saying a lot because my dad, like, my dad is he's not emotionally available, right? And my mom is the opposite. Like I'm the mama's boy. Like she wants to see her kid like flourish and succeed, but it can be much, right? And sometimes like I need to be, as a Leo, I need to
Free bird.
face. Yeah. And so I was able to fortunately learn and realize that like all this attention that I thought I was looking for in the outside world, I don't need anymore, right? Because like I'm strong, my foundation is strong. Like the shit that really mattered is good. So, you know, I'm a go about utilizing this resource, this tool that is Instagram, Facebook, what so have you, to what I want it to be, not necessarily what people think I should make it, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of like where I've been with just the whole social media thing. Like I'm gonna share what I want, when I want. I don't really care what you think. I hope you like it, right? I hope it does something for you, but my goal is just to be content with putting it out.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that's inspiring for us and for hopefully a lot of the viewers too, because especially during this time where we're so attached to our phones and our social media and technology and the internet, it's easy to get caught up and let it impact your personality because it's kind of all we have right now. And so just hearing that releasing it can help you find your personality more than being super attached to it is huge.
And also too thinking about like it's sometimes so hard for anyone, but I think particularly people in the field of dance to come to a point where they can consider themselves an artist or like name themselves as an artist. But it's so, artiste,
Yeah.
as was introduced as. But I think that it's so clear that with art, if you're like in the business of creating things that make people feel connected, it's important to be connected, I don't know, to yourself and to address those kinds of personal relationships because all of that stuff naturally informs your art and what you're putting out into the world. And so I feel like that point is so relevant and important to say, okay, so I realized I need to ground myself and figure out what helps me do that and address these relationships and find my foundation. And Edson is one to find his foundation in dance, but also apparently in life.
Trying to be a well-rounded, a good citizen. You know, my credo at one point. Can I curse?
Go for it.
You know, my credo at one point. Now it's different. My credo at one point was just to like, don't be a piece of shit, right? At the very least, don't be a piece of shit.
Mackenzie Dawkins told me that once, and I kept it in my brain forever.
I feel like I want to write it down and hang it up.
That was like bare minimum. But now I'm on, the other end of that spectrum where it's like, don't just not be a piece of shit. Like, be something. Like, be somebody worth, people knowing or, being inspired by. So now that, I've done all that personal work, allowing myself to project it. Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I feel like we've heard a lot of amazing things from you, Edson. I'm feeling very inspired as I sense that Bo and Jills are feeling similarly. We want to ask you, we want to ask you if you've been doing anything during this quarantine that you feel that you can teach to us.
I'll share a couple things. I'll teach one thing, but I'll share like a couple things that I've been doing.
Oh, feel free. Yeah, can't wait.
So like over the summer, I went like tattoo crazy. Like in the span of 2 months, I got like four to six different tattoos. And not just like little things. I'm like,
wait, show us.
These were full on. I'll show them. These were like full on therapeutic sessions. That was like, I'm gonna just sit under the needle for as long as I can, for as long as you can, as an artist. And this is part of that recentering, refocus. So like, I got a whole sleeve. Got my whole chest done. It's like an owl. Yeah, I'm not gonna show you. I got my half legs done. I'm gonna try not to fall on this guy.
Oh.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Wow. I love this
Can't get too much.
We shot. Love that.
Yeah, we out here twerking, and then this is probably my most favorite tattoo that I've got. Semicolon.
I love that one.
I love that.
But yeah, I've been very tattoo crazy this summer. Moisturize if you get tattoos. Don't be out in the sun. Don't be in any kind of like body of water for a long time. Like just chill.
Don't scratch.
Don't scratch. If it gets itchy, lightly tap. That's what I do. Or a little life hack that I do. I take the back of my palm and like graze it this way. Because I'm not scratching into it. I'm just like
rubbing it.
Feel
like
that that's genius.
Yeah, with like your nails.
I go.
Kind of with your nails. Ooh, yeah. I mean, apart from getting tattooed, I've been pretty big into just like self-defense, martial arts, boxing, kickboxing. So even like survival, like surviving a zombie apocalypse type thing. There was a week where I was just buying things off of Groupon. Like I bought like real quick.
Well, I also have a friend who was like, sent me a screenshot of her Amazon cart, and it was all like apocalypse tools. At some point in July, I think it was like, here's a life straw, which is where you can. It's a straw that filters water in case you're like. Oh my god, is that an axe?
What? Listen.
Then what is that?
This is a hatchet. So I'm not gonna take this off, but this part is very sharp, and then this under part is also very sharp. I've cut myself twice.
And have you used it for anything other than cutting yourself? Accident?
Creating firewood. Yeah, it was a learning experience.
Oh.
But the cool thing about this, apart from like it just being a cool looking axe, is that this shaft has like Swiss Army knife type like things. God. So different parts twist off. One part has like a nice fishing knife, or the back end of it. Sorry, this is taking a while. So like, you see it's dirty. I've been using it. So the back of this is like a saw.
What have you been using it for?
Knife. I'm a fire pit. I have a fire pit, so I've been using it as like a poker. Yeah, I'm like, what did I use this for?
That made me so nervous. I was like, it's in like.
What were you doing?
This part I'm good. And then this under part, this is a like kindling, like fire starter. So it'll spark up, then create a little like ember that you're then supposed to, nurture into a bigger flame.
Wow.
And then the last, it's two more things. Jesus.
Where did you find this?
Groupon.
Oh.
Groupon. Groupon was like my life for like 2 months. I was getting massages, I was getting facials, like I was going crazy.
Damn.
This sharp end smashes glass. So if for whatever reason you're trapped in a car or somewhere where it's glass,
I understand.
Break it off, and then this little guy has a compass.
Oh, so really, like, if you need to, like, you're gonna be the one who survives.
That's what I'm saying, like self-reliant.
You are gonna
survive.
That we need to reach out to should anything go askew.
So the thing I've learned today is that I need to go on Groupon for a lot of reasons.
For so many reasons.
Groupon was like my Amazon for a hot minute. And the last, or kind of getting back to it, like boxing, kickboxing.
Yes.
Just kind of like technique. I'll prop my iPad up better. So Michael Jai White is a black actor, martial artist. What was he in? He did a couple movies. Just look up his name. I can't. Movies he did is legal, right?
Okay, we'll look it up.
He taught me, or whoever viewed the video, that proper way or the best way to roll up a fist, right, is if you just kind of knuckle or roll the fingers in, and instead of like tucking it this guy like this, you're supposed to awkwardly enough have it on the outside, because what that does is that engages this muscle here, like in the forearm that runs through it, and that stabilizes your wrist so you don't break it on impact.
Oh.
So the reason why like a lot of fighters, boxers, whatever, wrap their wrist is because they don't know, I guess the proper way.
Yeah.
So they protect themselves. But as per Michael Jai White, that's how, you can throw a punch without worrying of that damage there. Yeah.
Wow.
You want to punch with these two knuckles versus the outside of your fist.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because those are like the stronger points. Yes. And as you're punching, you want to keep the elbows tight and not flared out. So everything should feel like within this world here.
I'm so slow.
I would.
I feel like mine looks weird. Your guys
one
look
day to
good.
get there.
I
Yeah.
know the other hand is supposed to cover your face, right?
Yeah, you always want to have
That in capoeira.
your beauty, your moneymaker covered.
Okay.
They keep the chin kind of tucked down, not to the point that it's like awkward, but to the point that this isn't exposed. So you want to be within like the line of sight of your target, your opponent, or whatever. That's punching, right? I'm not gonna do any kicks, but anything in terms of stance. Well, let me just prop this up better so you get my body now, Stan.
Ew.
Anything in terms of just like your body should be like a slight bend in the knees. You never kind of want to be like locked. Be nice, strong center of gravity.
Should we do that? Yeah.
Yeah. Get it.
Depending on which is your dominant hand, like if you're a lefty, you would stand with the right foot forward so that your strong hand is back, or opposite, if you're a righty, then you would stand with the left hand forward. Usually in combos, like if you're taking a boxing class, they'll give you like numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. Usually 1 is always the jab, right? The leading hand that punches. So you got a jab, which is the forward punching hand, and you got a cross jab, which is the farther hand, because you're crossing your body to throw it. Right? Then you got your hook, which when people throw hooks, they aren't too sure like how to arrange their body. So notice like where my fist is, and then you still have that like thumb placement to engage. Boom. But when you're setting up your hook, there's somewhat like of a feint. So if I'm stepping forward with my left hand, I duck into the right so that I use my body, the torque in my body, to throw that right hand. So like a prep. And 1.
Prep. And 1.
And 1.
And 1. Now, with
using my hopping training to make me hit. I don't know if that's like.
There you go.
Pop.
And then you're gonna hit.
Create a little bit more power, more torque in those throws. You want to engage or utilize your hips, so it's not just like the upper body that's doing the work. I'm using my hips, twisting back this right heel to give me more power to follow through. So those are
audience, and this is also how good a teacher he is at dance as well. Wow.
Follow through with your punches and your kicks. Don't think to hit the target, think to aim past it. Yeah. That way you drive more force and it doesn't feel like it just stops somewhere. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be probably posting random clips of me like exercising here and there. So people can like follow or just admire or talk shit, whatever. I don't care.
Instagram or whatever else you want to plug so that everyone can follow you. I mean, they should already be following you, but like just in case.
YouTube, anything.
I'm not really on Facebook too much, but you could just look me up, Edson Maldonado. My Instagram is like my main thing where I plug any kind of material, projects, content. I'm _ and then my name spelled out EDSON. I'm Edson because I'm so that. That's really it. Yeah. Honestly.
YouTuber, like where can we find Lady?
It should be on my YouTube. Thank you for that plug. Edson Maldonado on YouTube if you look it up. Believe it, I also kind of spliced it onto my IG too. So whatever preference people have in terms of searching, right? They can find it. It's on IGTV, I believe. So either platform should be good to watch it. Yeah,
and
let me know.
Interested in seeing any of your performances, like your Madison Square Garden performance or that music video? Where should they look? You guys, it's like my big brother. I have to.
We are your publicists.
Well, thank you. The Fish Madison Square Garden New Year's Eve concert The whole thing should be on Instagram, not Instagram, YouTube. So just look that up. Fish NYE, 2020. The big gag is what like the segment was called, if you will. It was like they did 3 sets that night. It was the last one of the night, and it was like an hour long. So if you have an hour to invest into supporting, do that. I did a Coheed and Cambria video like a year and a half ago. Um, oh my God, what is the name of that song?
We'll
We
write
gonna
it.
plug it though.
Yeah.
Coheed and Cambria. Maybe it's right here, or maybe it's over there.
Or maybe it's
Over there. Oh, such it. I'm so ready to be a father. Like it's. I mean, I'm not, but in terms of dad jokes, I'm ready.
I'm not, but I can make a joke though.
Yeah, I can make a dad joke. Take care of a baby.
the main aspect of dad is there though.
I think I was born a dad. Like I was born.
Me too,
telling dad-
Heike.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I mean, it's whatever. It's all I got now. Yeah.
Oh, well, we're so happy and excited that you came on our show today and you shared so many inspirational tidbits with us and also helpful survival skills and tips and tricks. So thank you so much, Edson. And,
I want to share one last thing. I haven't been dancing like at all this
Okay.
entire, like no type of anything, right? And so I'm excited, looking forward to cultivating that atmosphere, that space for me to get back into it, because I feel like in the theme of a phoenix, rising from the ashes, like I really hold that true. Like I've had to step back so that I can come back way stronger, and I'm excited. Like I'm looking forward to when I get to that mountaintop and start creating again, because there's gonna be some shit. Like I can tell you that.
I'm so excited that you're following and supporting very closely.
I appreciate that, and happy belated birthday.
Yes.
Thank you.
We out here celebrating birthdays, more life, Anne Hathaway movies. You heard?
Anne Hathaway movies. Yes, I'm celebrating Anne Hathaway.
Next year we'll just get her to do a monologue for you.
Edson said, I got the plugs. I will connect to Anne Hathaway and make sure.
It's also so funny because it's not like I love Anne Hathaway. It's just I happen to like those two movies, and she happens to like be starring in both of them.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
the funniest thing. But thank you, ladies, so much for having me. This was really, as I was speaking, like it was still an eye-opening experience. So I'm so grateful that you've granted me the opportunity to just open up and share this space with you. And again, like it's been so good to see y'all because it's been a while, especially being in person the last time we saw each other. So I love y'all.
Love
Y'all
you.
are queens. Y'all are queens in every facet of the word. And y'all viewers at home, like get your friends to watch this show and get your mom to watch this show. And get your mom's coworker and her mom to watch the show. But not her kids. They probably like privileged and don't care because they stupid. But yeah.
No. Yes, that is the theme of the show. Get your mom's coworker to watch our show. Don't watch it yourself. Only your mom's
But
coworker.
not her privileged ass kids because we not. But the coworker, she's with the shit.
Yes.
Thank you, Edson. Well,
Thank you.
we have an exciting next step after this. What's coming next, Bo? Tell us about it. Right after this.
It's our favorite time.
It's our favorite time.
Pizza time.
It's
Not
what
even
are
pizza.
you giving by the little queen, Christine,
The queen of filmmaking.
queen of filmmaking. Honestly, though, can we
Queen
talk
of
about that,
filmmaking.
everyone? Can we
The
talk about it? Every
Rose
time,
by
I'm sure
any
you
other
noticed
name.
that.
Right.
would smell as sweet, okay?
Every time from us to that video, Rose, you've been killing it, and we really appreciate you. We really
Super
appreciate you. Well,
icon.
they prepare something very fun and very unique.
Very
I don't
helpful.
think
Very helpful.
I don't think you've seen it on your feed, so you should check this video out. All right. So moving on to what are you giving?
Today, we'll be making a little something for some special people in our lives, and to spruce it up a bit, we're going to be doing it in a challenge. Welcome to this week's episode of What Are You Giving? Hit them with the rules, Rose. You get 3 categories, 2 picks, and 5 minutes on the clock. So the 3 categories are paper, drawings, and crafting tools. Crafting tools. We're gonna be picking out 2 items from each category, so that gives us 6 items to do this card. And we have only 5 minutes to make this beautiful masterpiece. Hopefully it'll be a masterpiece, but if it's not, it's great. We have to use all the 6 tools that we have picked out from each categories. We have to write 1 or 2 sentences in the card and use all the creative ideas and all the inspiration that we can into the card. Woo! Let's get to it. First thing that we're gonna be raffling out is the paper. Oh man. Okay. Let's go, Christine. Okay. I hope I get like a pretty one. Post-it. 3-piece. My turn. Post-it. It is what it is. Now please. Pattern paper, your choice! Oh my god! Wow, that is the top price, I'm telling you. Just 1 piece. Color paper, your choice! The second thing is drawing tools. God, hit me with your best shot. Blue pen with tape. Water paint! Oh, I'm jealous. 2 colors. Go away. Oh gosh. Red and blue pen with tape. Color pencil! 4 colors! Last but not least. Let's do it. Stickers! Choose 2. Yes! Sticker! I love a raffle. Good luck, Rose. Good luck. What is it? Clear tape. Haircut scissors. Not bad. Metallic tape. Tape on tape on tape. 1 piece of Post-it, metallic tape, clear tape, 4 colors. I got this piece of paper, the watercolor. What do you got? Okay, so I have my patterned paper, 3 Post-it, haircut scissors. I really like these. Red and blue pen, and then, just in case, tape. 2 stickers. Cute. We have 3 minutes to brainstorm. 3 minutes on the clock. Now, in the meantime, we're gonna check out what Ashley did for her good deed this week. Last week, we were giving back to the earth. Oh wait, I think Ashley might have done something about that for her good deed this week. So let's check it out.
Hi everyone, my name's Ashley. Thank you, Liv, for nominating me for this challenge. Today, my good deed is that since I'm spending time at the beach, I decided to bring a trash bag with me and just pick up any trash that I see in order to do my part in helping the planet. Yeah, I would like to nominate Quinn Carpenter to do this challenge next.
Awesome, Ashley. Thank you so much for giving back to the earth. That was awesome. And so, Quinn, you're up next. Let's see what you got. Now our brainstorming time has over. We are going to actually hit on 5 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, now. Let's go. Let's go. Level up. Level up. Oh my god. How do we use this? How do you use this? How do you use this? You put water and you touch on it. Touch on it. Touch and then go. Okay. Touch and go. 3, 2, 0. I'm sweating. I'm not doing anything.
Oh, yours is cute.
So, my thought process of this whole thing is to make a card, right? So, what says better else? A card, a really cute card, than an opening, right? So, you put an opening. And then
Nice.
you have to use the post-it, so I put the post-it inside.
Layers.
Then, even the post-it already sticks on it. It's not enough. Actually, I kind of cheated because I didn't use this clear tape, but there.
Good.
Better?
Good.
Okay,
Good.
now I do.
Better. She used all the things.
Right there.
Not
and
disqualified.
then I put this tape on the edge to make it like a little bit
Oh, cute.
note, right?
That's cute.
And then I used the watercolor to draw a little heart and a little T-Rex right there, if you can see it. And then I said, thank you for being the best quarantine partner with me.
Aw, cute. Nice, Rose. Very
What do you
nice.
have, Christine? Show it off.
All right, we're very on brand today. We got. I had lemons, so I definitely knew that I wanted the outside of my card to have the pattern, and so on the
Right.
inside I could do all the stuff.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
so and then I cut out my post-its and made hearts and stars. And then I
Cute.
cut the Supreme sticker
Cute.
into 3.
Wow.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Very nice.
That one I kept simple because whatever, Gyarados.
Yes.
And then, with the whiteout tape, I put lit on the front.
Oh, I thought you had to cut it out. That is so smart.
Smart, right? Layers.
Okay.
And then I wrote, Dear Chua, have a lit day. I made this with Rose. I love you.
So I think we're pretty even.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
even.
so.
I think so. We hope this video puts a smile on your face.
And also inspires you to go out and do something small, even if it's not perfect, and put a smile on someone else's face. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of
What Are You Giving? Join us next time to find out more ways to give good deeds.
Yeah! Nailed it!